All right, let's test the audio. Whoa, feedback. Whoa, at least I know the audio is working. Not much going on. Again, kind of just, right? Take a look at anything anybody wants to look at. I don't really have an agenda. An agenda. If you guys want to, guys or gals, want to see anything, let me know. I've got a long list of stuff we can look at. We'll talk about the majors. Thanks, Joey. I mean, at this point, I've really just been doom and gloom about everything. Not much going on. It's hard to find a reason to be in the market in a big way, at least in a leveraged position. I think spot is fine for the high caps. Spot is fine for most stuff that is not an altcoin. And we're just chilling at all-time highs, waiting for new money to come in. I mean, that's kind of it, right? The GBTC selling has slowed down, so that's good. The flows are just kind of flat. They're not great. They're not horrible. The flows are going to pick up if we break out higher, above 74. Once we break up, alts could do better. It's kind of odd that alts aren't doing better now because Bitcoin is doing nothing. If we look at, this is CoinGecko, but if we look at the past 7 days against Bitcoin, there's not much that's done well. I mean, it's very, very, very slim pickings. There's always going to be that one coin, right, that someone's going to point to and say, oh, why weren't you bullish on EOS or something, right? Or ENA, or some coin that came out yesterday or this week or whatever. Like, I get it. There's always going to be that one. But there's just really not much going on in the altcoin side of the world. So what's the point? And this isn't the important part here at this moment in time, at this specific snapshot. It's, of course, what's going to move, not what has already moved. But this is just illustrating. There really hasn't been a reason to be in altcoins over the past week. I mean, we look at this stuff every day, week to week, but there really isn't much going on. So the trick is, how do we sort through the other, 10,000 alts and find some that are potentially about to do well, which I don't think there are. And if you have an opinion on Bitcoin, that's correct. I say this often, but you really just have to get the Bitcoin stuff correct. If I can find the chart, you really just have to get this correct, and then you can figure the rest out, So it's really not about the 2000 charts that are about to do well. It's about figuring the direction generally of where this is headed, and then sort of making it up as you go along. And the altcoins, you can just sort of spray and pray, as we've kind of seen over the past, 6 months, right? So yeah, it's April. We're normally bullish in April, but it makes sense based on where we came from that things are paused. Taxes having, I don't know, is anybody seriously bearish at all-time highs? You guys tell me. We are consolidating at all-time highs. That shouldn't be default bearish. Previously, I had a concern that we were potentially going to mean revert, but even that wouldn't have been too bearish. We're just talking 58. We couldn't even achieve that. Currently, the mean reversion is at 60.8. But based on the price action, based on the chart pattern, that is not the expectation here. If anything, we can turn off the cloud. We can turn on B-bands. And that's the ball game, folks. You're waiting for a B-band squeeze. I'm sure there's a tweet out there somewhere of me saying my least favorite trades are waiting for Bollinger Bands. at least down in February, there was a chart pattern that was pretty obvious. Up here, we've chopped around so much. We certainly lean bullish. It's just hard to be super sure. At least that's what I would argue. Who's with us today? Dave, John Delaney, John Delaney, John JD. We'll call him JD. LP, PB, Zoltar, Pepe National Day should be on the 14th. Historically, the first 3 months after halvening can be a sell-off. Yeah, I mean, we can look at the other halvening dates. I just think it's kind of irrelevant at this point. You know, ETFs are a complete game changer, but we can look at that. The halving date itself is not important. It's the 2 months after halving. You know, I can pull that chart up as well. We can look at that. Most of the action historically happens after halving, right? We've just sort of pulled forward a little bit of that. This is slightly a few weeks behind probably, but we pulled forward a little bit of that. So you could say arguably we are somewhere in between, let's say, week 10 and week 25 based on the position of price on a percentage basis. So we're still waiting for averaging out, you know, whatever the next move higher would be relative to where we are now. Let's say that's generously week 28, okay, after halving. So we got time on top of time to figure out what's going on here, but there's nothing in the moment that's screaming to me, at least on the crypto side, like, hey, look at all these bullish setups. There really isn't much of that going on. Now, there are the same 6 alt charts that I keep touting out because I don't want to sound like I'm a perma bear on alts. On the USD pairs, you know, there's a few charts that look like this, and I talked about them yesterday in a video. Like, they're going to chop around. They will maybe work out, maybe not, but of all the things that I'm seeing, this is kind of like the best 6 right now as far as things that have bottomed, are attempting a bullish reversal, and potentially have a significant upside. You know, I would be kicking myself so hard if algo goes to $1.50 and I don't have anything, right? So that's really the argument for stuff like this. AXS, I'm a little less convinced. But anything, especially if the token is sub $1, you know, we can talk about market cap versus price, but if the token is sub $1, that really helps the retail mindset, right? So we got time, right? This is going to take 3 to 6 months to chop around. Probably, I think Q4 is going to be the next mini alt season, if we want to call it that. TikTok crypto's right. I mean, dominance looks dominance looks amazing still. We can look at that too. It's funny to see people kind of deny. Let me find a chart. Let's just add. Why not? Let's go 5. Let's go 5 deep because we can. Boom. It's funny to see people deny how bullish dominance is. Like, it's never going to be a straight line. But clearly this thing is cooking. It hasn't really been bearish on trend for quite a while if we just do regular. I mean, this is post breakout, right? Post consolidation. Still looks great. I can't find a bearish thing about it. It's curling up. It's clearly got a horizontal resistance. And it's in the breakout vicinity. Yeah, sure. Why would I want to be deep into alts right now? It just doesn't make sense. So Golshi, Ozzy, Suppo Man. Oh man, that's a name I haven't heard in quite some time. Doing good. Tic Tac. If you guys want to see anything, let me know. It could be interesting to look at the page of alts during previous all-time high breakouts. Yeah, and people other than me have said this, but we can pull up total 2 and we can look at where that does best relative to halving, and it's always after halving. It's not before, it's after. There's maybe some bullish lead up into halving, which we've already had, but looking at the previous halvings, all of the bullish non-BTC activity has been post-halving. And it's been, we can measure this. We have like 2 data points, but we'll say 150 to 200 days after halving. Okay, so let's say halving is April 22nd. 150 to 200 brings us to Q4. Look at that. It's almost as if the stars are aligning. The eclipse, which I missed, is somehow aligning with Q4 in the moon in alt season. So if you average this out, Q4 makes sense to me to think about being denominated increasingly in alts a little bit, right? And most likely what you're doing, if you're doing this correct, is you are probably just taking profit on your Bitcoin stuff and you are rotating into whatever, just on a relative basis, ETH BTC being my favorite punching bag at the moment. I think this thing is going to bottom in Q4. And by bottom, I mean 04, 03, 5, whatever it is. The number is kind of irrelevant. It's just what things look like when we get there. We can measure this and say, that's the range. We can add a decimal point. I don't think it's going to go below 03. Now, I'm not even bullish ETH, okay, clearly, but even I don't think it's going to go below 03. Anything below 04 is game on territory, but I think we need to see more people lose hope. I'm seeing a lot of hope and cope so far on the timeline in regards to the ETH camp. And maybe the rest of the people just aren't talking about it because they just left. I don't know. Like, there's some real diehards. There's like 4 or 5 of them on Twitter. Everything is, super bullish for ETH. But, this is not a bullish chart. Sorry, guys. Even if it bottoms here, even if I look at this 6 months from now and it bottoms here, in hindsight, it is still not a bullish chart. It's just not. You're breaking supports, you're breaking lows, you're sitting on the low. It's not bullish. It's not bullish. What is the 50% of that? So the 50% from the low to the high, or even below that. So even that as support isn't even there anymore. I don't know. I can't be bullish on something that looks like this. That's just it. Historically, 1-3 months after having kind of a sell off. Yeah, that's kind of the Ben Cowan, what did he call it? Having scare or something. Again, we can look at that. We had COVID. COVID's kind of a black swan. Can't really predict that one. But yeah, it's possible we could have a move down to 40. I don't know. It's certainly not probable. Having before that was the Bitfinex hack. Can't really predict that. That's kind of a black swan. And the having before that, we didn't really have much of a scare. I don't remember what this was in August 2012, but so yeah, black swans are always possible. But you can't, by definition, you can't predict a black swan. We can think about things that might happen, but is that going to scare me out of anything here? No. Is RSI at infinity on the weekly? Kind of. There's no bear div though. We're getting higher highs on higher RSI. That makes sense. Monthly is, as many people have pointed out, in the territory of bullish expansion historically that we've seen. And once again, that's super early because it's pre-halving versus post-halving historically. All this stuff looks good. All this stuff looks good. Even if we go to 50 or less in the near term, and in the long term we go to 300, does it really matter that we went from 70 to 50? Obviously, you wish you capture that trade in some way. But to me, the upside risk is far greater than anything on the downside, even considering some possible black swan. Okay, so that's just me. What else? What else? If you slam a Bitcoin H date on alts, you can see they outdo BTC. Yeah, okay. Got long on the 12-hour BTC. Yeah, there's some, similar to NVIDIA, like before the massive breakout. The cloud on the lower time frames is still pretty convincingly bullish. As choppy and as gross as this has all been, 12 hours bullish, 8 hour is still bullish, choppy, but still bullish. 6 hours bullish again, 4 hours still bullish. So you can go through these time frames and sort of justify what's going on, but ultimately it kind of comes down to this massive triangle thing. As long as we hold above, we're good. This has an expectation of bullish continuation. It certainly doesn't look like a reversal pattern at all-time highs like it did in late March. Back here it looked a little bit more toppy. Even with this, it kind of looked toppy. Now at this point, to me, it looks more convincing as a bullish continuation pattern. But it took holding that support to be convinced that this looks more bullish. Can you put a measurement tool on the bottom of that measures the B-band gap? Yes, we can look at, it's called B-band percent, B-band width, one of those, I forget. Is it BBW? This is another way to kind of look historically, how tight do things get? And we're definitely getting there. I don't know if my head's in the way, but we are on our way to a pretty significant squeeze on the daily. So, look, we got time. This lean's bullish. I wouldn't want to be short up here. The daily fractals are telling you the current support is at 65, let's call it. Resistance where you think it would be on the horizontal. That's it. We just got to wait. If anything, this is a blessing that we've held this level. We've continued to chop around and made higher highs continuously. Higher lows, rather. Continuously, not higher highs. I think this looks great right now, currently. I'm not mega turbo uber leverage long, but I think it looks fine. Absolutely. Let the people sell who want to sell, and you're going to have more buyers and sellers eventually, just by definition, based on the ETF stuff. We still have money coming in. Still looks good. How long did it take you to become a profitable trader? Asks Shane. Realistically, 2 to 3 years, probably. It's hard to say. Early on, I never really went big size-wise. I mean, Bitcoin, when I was trading in like 2015, was at like what, $400 or something? So it much different than today. But bull market helps. Knowing that you're in a bull market helps. Knowing where the trend is. I still see people constantly trying to short every $5, which, hey, God bless them. But if we are above the daily cloud, you should be looking for longs only. You should be looking for places to buy only. You should be either in cash or in coin. That's it. You really shouldn't be shorting this unless you have a crazy, crazy good reason to do so. I mean, look at Nvidia. So I just love this as like a teachable chart. It's just so good. As bearish as I am in Nvidia yesterday, the day before, it's still in bullish territory. Now, yeah, we had CPI, we had PPI, we had rate expectations going all over the place. Ultimately, you should be still leaning bullish. The question is always, do I want to buy it here? I don't, but that doesn't mean you have to short it, right? I mean, look at SMCI. SMCI arguably looks much, 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 much worse up here. This thing, to me, is a head and shoulders all day. Is it going to take a while to break down? Probably, but it's still in the bullish territory. I like, from a short perspective, I like that it has ranged here for 2 months, 60 days, let's say. But you have to be real careful about shorting this, right? You know, this thing's clearly in the zeitgeist of the market. Would love to see this thing below 850 into the daily cloud, and that just goes back to the system, right? If we're above the cloud, you do nothing but go long. If we are in the cloud, you think about that mean reversion type trade to the bottom of the cloud, and that's it. You know, there isn't like, oh, every $5 I'm looking for a short. It has nothing to do with that. You know, like, all you have to do to be profitable is, if you're a trend trader, know the trend, pick your favorite metrics. You know, we can look at 5200 MA cross. Okay, that thing's been bullish on the daily for years and years and years and years on SMCI. Okay, so that's telling you the same thing. Only look for longs. Anyway, so things, when they trend, you want to be on the right side of that. In my experience, that's the best way to be profitable. For my personality type, for my style of trading, there are some people, they can only be bearish. They can only look at things with a bearish lens. They can only look at stuff like this, waiting for the short. Okay, that's fine. But don't try to short this at all-time highs because you missed it from 300, you know? So that's my best advice to people who are still not profitable, is be patient, find the trend, follow the trend, study trend-based indicators, and for God's sake, avoid the meme garbage. You know, that's just a lottery ticket. If you want to do that stuff, that's fine, but don't expect to be profitable quickly. You know, that's you're playing scratch-off lottery tickets, right? That's a little different. Can you look at Sol? Yeah, we'll look at Sol. The other thing about legacies, if NVIDIA and SMCI, which are strong today, I'll give you that, if they do roll over, that's not going to be bullish for the rest of the market. Apple up today on some AI chip nonsense, sure. This chart also looks like nothing I would touch still. You know, I don't care about fundamentals, honestly, for most of these companies. To me, it just doesn't matter. You know, this has been bearish since the head and shoulders up here. And that's it. Tesla's the same, right? Is Tesla above the daily cloud? No. Then why should I care about it? I don't. I just don't. There's other stuff like Netflix or Meta that are bullish, but the entry to me just isn't there up here. You know, it doesn't look like a great entry. And then there's other stuff like Google that makes a lot more sense to me just based on higher time frame chart patterns and or the cloud. You know, the entry for this was here, here, back here. You're getting more entries. They don't really go anywhere. They haven't really so far, but again, you're holding above the cloud. This is still all leaning bullish on the daily. Looks fine. Looks fine. I like that it actually is trying to reset and hasn't. You know, I like that it's not turbo overbought. Amazon kind of similar to Meta. You can't get bearish on this, but is this the best entry? I don't think so. Right here, you know. So that's kind of the Mag 7 right now. Not that anybody asked about the Mag 7, but I'm really most concerned with Legacy, because if Legacy gets bearish and Bitcoin doesn't have momentum, doesn't have inflows, sort of waiting for something, you know, if we are, let's be honest, right? If we are in this this range where we're waiting for something to happen, and the thing that happens is Legacy rolling over, I can't imagine we go the other way. I would love to see that. I would love to be proven wrong, but if Legacy doesn't need to continue rising, it just needs to not roll over, right? Just like alts for Bitcoin, rather Bitcoin for alts. Alts just need Bitcoin to not roll over, and they'll do fine eventually. We on the Bitcoin side are the same relative to the S&P. We really do not want this thing rolling over. That would be very bad news for us in the near term, you know, as we're consolidating. Excuse me. Now we might try to break out first or something. I don't know, but we really do not want the S&P to roll over. So definitely something worth watching for sure. The same thing with QQQ. You know, it turned up a little bit today. It still hasn't really made highs yet. I don't know. It doesn't look turbo bearish. It just kind of lost that momentum that it's had over the past 6 months. So we just have to be really careful about that. On the crypto side, as we're watching Bitcoin consolidate, and as Dixie, the dollar index, is curling up and looks very, very bullish, unfortunately. It broke above the daily cloud again, made new multi-month highs. Cloud looks very bullish. If this was any other chart, you'd say, yeah, sure, let's do it. Very bullish. Very bullish. It's above the weekly cloud. I mean, it's hard to find bearish arguments for the DXY right now. So if the DXY is bullish and Legacy's losing momentum and or becomes bearish, it's going to be harder for Bitcoin to break out, and forget about alts if that all happens, right? But the good news is, in the moment, the Bollinger Bands are tightening. Chart patterns continue to be favorably bullish. We're above the midpoint of the daily on the B bands here. If we start to close below 69, let's say, if we start to close below 69 and the B bands are still tightening, that's when we can get concerned. We can look at that. This is my fancy old school Bollinger Band width thing. Can sort of guess and check a level. I guess we'll just keep doing that. We'll go 05, 09. Let's go up. Okay, we're not even that tight yet. Anyway, you get the point. The point is, this has a ways to tighten yet. We've seen tighter before the previous moves. We saw tighter before both moves recently in February, at the beginning and at the end of February. So we're not there yet on the daily. And prior to that, there was a ton of tight Bollinger Band squeezes in 2023. So all this is just saying we need more time. Need more time. Which is totally fine. Weekly bands, I don't think are too helpful, other than the weekly midpoint is at 53. So we're slowly catching up to that. I don't know. I mean, look, we're consolidating at all-time highs. What do you want? This looks pretty good to me. Could you please add comp to your alt watch list so that it gets your insights now and again? Can I ask you when you got into comp? Because if you're holding comp, I mean, I looked at the chart yesterday. I'll get back to that in a second. Stablecoins, by the way, just printing crazy, crazy amounts still. So this is super bullish for the ecosystem. Just something else to add to the flows for the ETFs. This is what we want to see. It's harder for alts to do well. Not that I want alts to do well, but it's harder for them to do well if stablecoins aren't printing. This is Tether in USDC. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Not much going on. You know, this is a time when you're going to hear a lot of analysis out of me when price isn't really doing anything. Just because that's when the most important decisions are made. If we're bullish, how bullish are we? Where do we go from here? Upside, downside targets. Downside's like 50, upside's like 85. Okay, you know, that's about as far as I can go with that. And the moment just doesn't look like much of anything on the daily just yet. ETH. I don't even know. What is this I drew here? This must be ETF denial stuff. You know, ETH is above the cloud, so it's fine on the USD pair. The best entry was the TK recross. I don't know. I know I sound like a broken record at this point. There's really nothing else to say here. Weekly candles look okay. I don't know. You know, do I want to be... Here's the real question. Do I want to be heavy ETH denominated going into a potential ETF denial? I don't. I would much rather wait for the denial, wait for the market to get angry on the news, and then figure it out personally. That would be May, maybe August. So, you know, I think most people are sort of thinking that way. They'd rather just wait it out for the news. If we look at the ETH discount, we are now at 23, 28 was the near term local low, I guess, on that. I don't, you know, this doesn't look like a chart that has a trade on it right now. That's kind of it. Sol looks okay, but much like Nvidia, you know, it's kind of the same deal because it's above the daily cloud. Great. What I don't like about Sol up here is, you know, this business, and it hasn't broken down yet, and it might not, but just like SMCI, I personally cannot look at something and say, oh, that might be an inverted Adam and Eve, that might be a double top, and just assume like that's not going to happen, right? I need to see this fail first to get bullish on the chart, to want to trade this thing to the long side, even though the cloud says it's fine. The chart pattern certainly is concerning, right? Maybe 130, maybe 145. It's not a guarantee. You know, way back here somewhere, it's probably here, right? Way back here, I said something along the lines of I like Sol to 37. And, you know, it's never a guarantee, right? This was clearly a triple top. Great. The time to trade this to the long side, if you think it's a triple top, is not, you know, at 59 or 52. It's once we break these levels, then you negate the triple top, right? Yes, I know everybody was default bullish on Sol at that time. And on top of that, you get low time frame TK recrosses or whatever, just confirming everything. But you just have to wait it out. You know, again, back to being successful. Being successful isn't trying to like constantly hope for the best. It's just looking for ways that this can go against you and planning accordingly. So maybe on Sol, you want to wait for the 8-hour bullish breakout on the cloud, bullish TK recross, something other than a double top, because that's all I can see on Sol right now. And then there's other charts that just look way worse. There's Link. Link is below the daily cloud, and that's immediately a non-starter for any long conversation. You know, I don't care about this until it's back above the daily cloud. That's it. AVAX is getting there. Matic below the daily cloud. Litecoin, gross chop. You know, and you can go through this pretty quickly and just see that there's not much going on here on the daily. Dot doesn't look great. Near to me looks worse. Well, I shouldn't say worse. Better than ETH, better than Sol. Still doesn't look like an entry to me. So, you know, we can go down this list, but there really isn't much going on. There really isn't much. DXY so bullish, no way BTC breaks upwards out of this consolidation. So I tend to agree with you, Tic Tac Crypto. The DXY can whipsaw around, much like much like S&P. We just need the DXY to not go to infinity, and we'll be okay. Technically, the DXY is still in this huge multi-month range. Not great because it's leaning pretty bullish, but so far so good. You know, but I agree. If the DXY goes to 108, we probably break down. You know, so we really have to dodge whatever's going on there. Would you say this cycle is odd compared to the last two so far? I mean, odd in what way? Odd that we're early? I mean, I've said this a billion times, but the ETFs were the game changer, right? That was everything. Regulatory clarity, rubber stamping by institutions as something that isn't a joke, access, putting Bitcoin in the silo halls of Wall Street, you know, those are all great things for price appreciation. So it makes sense that we did that a little bit earlier than expected. What's up, Benny? Tezos entering the weekly cloud. Sure, let's take a look. There was another one. Comp. Let me write these down so I don't forget here. Comp, Tezos. Somebody else said something else. The funny thing about DeFi like Link, I love the protocol. Doesn't need a token. Could it be successful with a stablecoin? Probably. Probably. Benjamin, it's a week until halving. We didn't come this far. To come this far. What else we got? Thoughts on BTC giving any turn on things? Yeah, Adam, I was just talking about that with Bitcoin. Just needs more time. That's it. Leans bullish, needs more time. Sol is a great feature with the Sol network congestion. Everyone's forced holding. There you go. Yada's right. With Solana not working, I think that's really what put the brakes on Sol in the near term. Until they get that figured out and the casinos limping along, it's going to be harder for Sol to do well. Margin fi drama. Yeah, it's funny when you can't bribe people, they tend to not want to use your protocol. Funny how that works, huh? Ina. I don't think Athena is going to be the Luna of this cycle, but I think if you're bullish on Athena existing, you want to see it tested and succeed. You don't want to have all these open questions of what happens with persistent negative funding, what happens when ETH staking yield decreases, all these risks. I would rather see those get tested than just assume it's going to blow up, right? doesn't need a token. Exactly. A great way to ruin a project is to add a token. Speaking of that, Trueflation, they added a token. Pretty disappointed on that one. That's been a long time coming, but yeah, not a fan of projects that think they need to add a token. Atom, Doge. All right, what other majors? Do we have any other majors? I mean, Doge. Look, if you are bullish on Doge and you think we're going to wherever we're going, there's nothing to do. There's just nothing to do. I wouldn't trade it on margin here. I wouldn't trade it on leverage, but buy Doge, hold it. Here you go. Here's a great alpha, some alpha for you, some Yalpha. The top for Doge in 2018 was 500 days after halving, 340 days after halving prior to that. So I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this right now. Let's do this. We're going to mark the top on Doge. Are you ready? Hold on. Bitcoin halving is, we'll say here. We're going to do this together. Where is it? So it's here or... Here's the plan. You ready? You buy Doge, you sit on it until February to September 2025. That's it. Oh my God, I just made a plan. That's huge. That's huge. Most people can't do that, to be fair. Most people cannot hold Doge for a year or any altcoin. But look, if you expect a repeat of previous halvings, that's what you do. Where does this go? That's the next question. Are you ready? Are you ready? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What can we measure in 2014? Not much. We'll say 2618, 3618, 7618, 7618. There we go. Previous high to low. It got even higher. What is that? Like the 10618? Just you wait for this alfalfa because nope, even higher. What is that? I mean, that's a special moment in time to ever see a repeat of that. 20? Okay, it got above above a 20x. All right, so let's say there's our high, there's our low. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Here we go. Is everybody sitting down? This is my target for... Is this possible? What would the market cap of Doge be? All right, here's the idea. You look at where price peaked in previous halvings, how many days, that gives you a range. Great. Then you take the fibs, the fib extensions of previous bear markets, you measure it higher, you just compare. You don't have a lot of data here. We're just kind of guessing. So either Doge tops between February and September 2025, or we hit a price between 560 and 14. Could you imagine? 420, bro. 420 is FUD, okay? 690, we'll take it. Aussie's, you know, Aussie's in it at 620. What was the first move? First move was the 3618. Oops. So 3618 was 269. Okay, so there's your range. I'm gonna delete this just so it's not busy, but there's your range expectation, and there is your there's your time frame. Okay. So if you are bullish Doge from 3 to 10 in a year, what do you care about current price, right? You're hoping for lower so you can buy more. I don't know if realistically that target is possible. But, you know, look, maybe. Maybe that's why you buy and hold some, just a little bit. Use cases don't matter. I agree. Look at DeFi. Again, I love the protocols for DeFi. They work great. They're amazing. The tokens don't have to do well just because there's a use case of people using them. It's more than that, to be fair. That's the Doge. I threw the chicken bones on the desk. We rubbed the crystal ball, the Palantir. We arrived at a target. And we'll see. I'll leave this on the chart. We'll see what happens. We got time on top of time. But just right now, I don't know. It looks like chop. Looks like everything else. Post Bitcoin halving is when alts do best, and they've already done pretty good, right? The world will be pretty messed up at $10 Doge. If Doge is more than a bag of bread, we probably have a problem. I agree. Smart, Joey. Smart. I like Doge into Q4. It's not above the weekly cloud yet. You know, I mean, everything I do is always going to be the same. It's never going to be different. What do you want to see here? You want to see a candle close above the weekly, and then you literally just hold this thing. Here's the next part is like, how long does this 130 days, the first time, second time rather, 280 days the first time. So that is a long trend to just hold after it's above the weekly cloud. Buy above the weekly cloud. Your stop loss is to close below the weekly cloud, or 300 days after a breakout of the weekly cloud. It's all perfect. It's all right there, guys. It's all right there. It's all right there. I am serious though, as far as the time frame for a top. I don't know if we'll go to 10, but you can do that with any chart. Yeah, it's the same thing. As far as expectations. As long as there's enough data. Even 2 data points isn't exactly enough data, but sure. You know, do we get a Doge ETF? Is that how we get to 10? Could you imagine? Is that how we get to 10? I don't own any Doge currently, by the way, but the chart looks great. You can't deny it. It really does. That's that. That's Doge. Doge before ETH, ETF. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? I think there's actually like a very the holders of Doge are super concentrated, I think. So I don't think for that reason it would happen, but anyway. Yeah, I don't have any Doge either, wink wink. All right, what'd I miss? Anything of note here? 44K on BTC, what do you do? I don't like that energy. Get that energy out of here. Some chart I've never heard of. 720 billion market cap on Doge. Market cap's kind of a myth. You don't know how many Doge tokens are lost forever. You have no idea, frankly. $10 Doge. I specifically remember your comment about how Doge can't reach 16 cents because of its market cap. So that was actually somebody else's comment. I said, you're going to wake up one day and Doge is going to be above 13 cents. And somebody else said, Doge can't go to 16 or whatever because of the market cap. So I was disagreeing with that person. Anyway, Yeah, exactly. Just allocate responsibly. It's the same thing with algo, right? Like, this thing is junk. Let's be clear. But similar to Doge, if this breaks out and I don't have any, I'm gonna feel real dumb. So I have it. I have a little bit. Okay. Filecoin, kind of the same thing. Doesn't look great. Hasn't looked great for many days. But if it breaks up and I don't have any, I'm gonna feel real dumb. All right. I think that's all for the majors. What was the other one? Doge. They asked me about something else. Doge and not Tezos. Sorry, I'm just reading chat. Okay. So if we go to the previous streams watch list, somebody wanted me to add wrapped Ampleforth. Okay, all right. Tezos is probably already on here. Yeah, Tezos is on here. Comp, I don't think is on there. We'll add it. The comp BTC chart looks horrendous, along with most of DeFi. It looks real bad. Real bad. Real bad. Let me plug Kraken real quick. If you don't have a Kraken Pro account, I highly recommend. Even if you have other accounts, the customer service is really good. I really like their exchange. It helps that I know these people and work with them, but they are consistently adding more stuff. I'm really selling it here, I know, but it's the main place I trade these days, really because of the fees. The Coinbase fees are just astronomically high, even on the pro side. You can also get in and out of the exchange super quickly. If I log in, I can show you the layer 2 stuff. You can deposit to Lightning on Bitcoin. You can deposit to Arbitrum. I think Optimism as well on ETH. So it's just super convenient and streamlined if you're going between like DeFi and other layer 2s. Anyway, just a plug for them. Some of this stuff down real bad today. What's that about? Uni we know, Mango. so a lot of DeFi stuff angry. Bunch of layer 1s angry, some AI stuff's angry. Most of this list is red today. Anything green of note? Not really. Algo's up today. Dash. Whiff, I guess. Sol a little bit. Some other meme stuff. Anyway, I don't really see much anything going on in altcoin land. Where were we? Stream watch list. Doge we talked about. Link, AVAX, Algo, Render we talked about. BNB, BTC. Still grinding out this triangle that I drew a couple weeks ago, probably at this point. Render. Render, I said last week, certainly wasn't an entry. And this is just cloud stuff 101 at this point. You know, your better entries are going to be waiting another couple weeks, probably. And if anything, you're hoping for this to break down. If I'm holding this, and I have been holding this since October, I'm probably closing out the entire position. Just because it is up X percent. It's up 300% here. It was up 600% in 6 months. And, you know, how much more do you want? How much more do you want? I don't know. You tell me. But 600% in 6 months is pretty good. Sui, same thing. People keep asking me about this. Sui had the bullish TK crisscross on the daily right here, but that didn't go anywhere. And that's that, you know. So if you believe in it, like Doge, as we've illustrated, then you hold it. But if not, you live to die another day and you get out. You could argue double top up here. You could argue eventual head and shoulders. You could argue a whole bunch of stuff, but none of it's particularly bullish. Say, same thing. A couple weeks ago, I was saying, wait for the bullish TK recross. Never happened. The cloud's telling you to get out. Again, like this stuff's up 1,000% in 6 months. What do you want? What do you want? I don't know. Do you want another 1,000? Like, this is probably going to chop around. It's probably going to retrace a bunch. If you want to stick around and find out, go for it. Tia, man, I can't tell you the number of people weeks ago. Tia, show Tia. They were shaking me by the neck. They were like, show me the Tia chart. Are they in the chat now? Is anybody? Tia? No? Tia? Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. Nobody cares about Tia anymore. And then there's the people who, of course, are holding and they're saying, you know, you can stake it. You can get all these airdrops. It's going to be amazing. Well, here we are. It is down 50% since the top after being up 800%. Okay, now I'm not saying this thing is going to be down forever, but I am saying in the near term, on trend, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's all. This is clearly bearish. It's been bearish for a while on multiple time frames. I wouldn't touch this until it's above the daily cloud, which may never happen. I don't know, but I am not one of these people who just hold something and watch it bleed forever, you know? And it was already up 800%. What do you want? What do you want? What are your thoughts on this cycle? Can you show your YouTube views indicator, please? Sure, we can look at that. So for anybody's YouTube channel, it's called Social Blade. You can look up their stats, so it's not like it's a secret. We can look at views. Where's views? This? Can I click on this? You can kind of see the chart there. Here we go. So if you want to look at views for me, you just go to Social Blade and look at what sort of happened on the account here. Weekly video views gained since 2023. So I got laid off from Valkyrie in June, July. So that's really when I restarted on this channel in a big way. And we peaked in late February. Sorry, early March we peaked. Down only since then. So my personal views have peaked for sure. But it is up significantly, you know, month over month, continuously here. Subscribers growing pretty nicely here over the past couple months, what you'd expect based on market conditions and the amount of videos I'm putting out. Total subscribers and video view monthly graph. Okay, I mean, we're going up and to the right. So it's about what you'd expect. People tend to come back and watch crypto stuff when there's price action. But Social Blade is the website to look at all this stuff. We can look at Twitter too, which is maybe less useful because of all the bots, but we'll take a look once this loads. Twitter. B minus. Can you believe that? What am I looking for? I guess you'd want followers? Weekly followers? Hasn't really picked up. Total followers, I mean, it's picked up a little bit. Not much. It's certainly not like 21. You know, look at all those followers in 21. 1,000 followers a day. Again, it's hard to know with the bot situation, like what really is going on over at Twitter, but the YouTube stuff is growing much better, in my opinion. Even with the amount of tweets and stuff I'm putting out. So, that's that. But yeah, Social Blade, you can check that whenever you want. Wintia Moon. Gold breaking out. Where's all the big crypto channels? Ben Cowan has that on his side of things. That metric is probably less useful now because I don't know if those accounts are as in the mind's eye of the crypto crowd as they used to be. But I think you get the general gist. Retail's MIA this bull market. Yeah, I'd agree. So far, most of them are in Solana and the meme coin stuff, for sure. What content when we are all unhealthy rich? I need to up my clickbait game. This is it. This is me. This is all me. All right, people keep asking about gold, so let's talk about gold. PAX G. I guess we can go to this because I talk about it on here. Why gold right now? Well, it isn't really outperforming Bitcoin. It certainly hasn't outperformed Bitcoin in years. I think that's fair to say. If this is a bottom, it goes back to the cloud, right? On the daily cloud, unless we're above the daily cloud on PAX G BTC, is PAX G really the answer? Is gold really the answer for you? I'm not going to deny that the PAX G USD chart looks great, right? This looks great. The target is higher. This whole thing is a huge inverted cup and handle, multi-year, inverted head and shoulders. I think it's probably a little late based on the USD chart to rotate into gold relative to Bitcoin. And on trend, I would want to see, where is it? I would want to see strength on the daily, right? Look at this thing. Since 2022, it's been down only effectively against Bitcoin. So I'd agree that, if you want to like hedge downside or like protect yourself from crypto downside, yeah, I don't hate gold as an allocation. But if you're trying to outperform, I'm not so sure that that's going to work out well for you. I'm just trying to see if there's like a pitchfork here. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe that. It looks like there's some sort of channel here. It's back to the cloud again. The cloud's just telling you what you need to know on the daily. Unless this is above the daily cloud, it's tough for me to like get excited. Now, yeah, could you trade this chart pattern? And yeah, you could, but I don't see a reason, a justification for it based on technicals. What is that? Speaking of retail, hold on. Jungle Beat. If you don't have this site in your bookmarks, I'll just add it to chat. This is something you can look at as far as a retail indicator. Highest crypto app in the App Store, above 100. Highest crypto app rank in the finance category, 20. That's probably Coinbase if I had to guess. Google Trends Index for buy crypto, 27. So that's pretty low. And they've got some graphs on here as well. And we came close to the highest crypto app in the App Store a couple of weeks ago. I guess, again, March, beginning of March. I don't know, semi-useful if you're curious what retail's doing. But, you know, not screaming right now at all as far as activity in the App Store. If we go back to, I'll close this so I stop going to it. If we go back to gold, you know, I mean, what do you want to say, right? This thing, it took 4 years. It's like that meme from Titanic. It's been 84 years. It took 4 years, but it did it. To me, it feels a little late to get in on this in the moment. Just because this target is pretty much satisfied, or you're within the range of expectations. If you're getting in here, you are hoping for, these are Bitcoin halvings. It's interesting that gold is both down and up on Bitcoin halvings. If it's every other year, this year would be the up year for gold, right? Down, up, down. Yeah, maybe an up year for gold, or up halving epoch. If you're getting in gold here, I think you're hoping for the cup and handle target, obviously, right? But the near-term target, to me, looks satisfied. I think to see gold breaking up like this is bullish for Bitcoin. If we are digital gold and Bitcoin's breaking up, or sorry, gold is breaking up, Bitcoin should follow. There's the risk versus non-risk argument. I don't know. If anything, gold is catching up to Bitcoin. You know, let's be real. Bitcoin broke out first, ETF or not. So these are the targets for gold. Peter Schiff, I saw somebody posted this live stream of him saying Bitcoin is crashing against gold. Not quite, Peter. Not quite. Not quite. If I can find it, I have this cool indicator. Here it is. It's Bitcoin priced in ounces of gold based on the previous highs. Does it work on the weekly? It should. Yeah. I hope I'm explaining that correctly. So it's taking previous all-time highs and measuring that as support or resistance based on the gold price. You can see this was the previous gold price resistance based on the BTC all-time high. So currently the gold resistance price based on the previous gold price at Bitcoin's previous all-time high is at 84K. It is interesting how it, bottomed in the FTX stuff down here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. I mean, pretty interesting. I mean, it's mainly using just the Bitcoin support resist levels, but interesting how that has worked out over time. So I think this is bullish for Bitcoin, personally. Anyway, that's gold. Where were we on the true stores of value? Things such as Arrow and Velo. Arrow Arrow, 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 arrow. Arrow is up 2,000%. You know, if you didn't catch it, you missed it, right? And a lot of people are still talking about this and looking at it, and they are turbo zoomed in, right? They're talking about 140 to 180, great. But man, the grand scheme of things, you definitely got to be careful on stuff like that. Velo, same thing. All I see in this stuff is just double top. You could argue consolidation or something here, but you could argue cup and handle, I guess. Sure, cup and handle. Let's call it a cup and handle. Let's be generous. Arrow is a Uniswap copy. See, I didn't know. Mint ratio. I'm not familiar with that. So sure, is this bullish on the low time frame? Maybe, but it's up 2,000% in 2 months. That's insane. That's insane. Velo. I don't know. Descending triangle. Prime. Man, there was a time when everyone was asking me about Prime. Last week I probably said this is in the upper bounds of this channel. I like this thing down here. Same story. I'd be careful with that one. Ondo, same story. I don't know. I just don't see bullishness on anything. Maybe I just got the bear glasses on. Ordy. Chop. Range. STX. Range. Chop. Nonsense. Cass. I think I was talking about Tia. It's do or die up here. I think it's going to be die, but you would want this with a bullish TK cross price above cloud. There really isn't anything that looks good. Pepe consolidating. I don't know. It all just to me looks like it's waiting for Bitcoin to do something. GRT breaking down. Below the cloud. INJ breaking down. GOSP. Is GOSP in here? Somebody get GOSP. Somebody tell him we're breaking below the daily cloud, man. It's all over, man. It's all over, man. The better entry is going to be a breakout above the cloud. I would not buy this here. I know, he's not selling. Man, he's going to get trapped. He's going to get trapped all the way down to 6. This thing, same story, you know, up thousands and thousands of percent. I would not touch this here. I would not touch this here. Yeah, you just have to wait until we're above the cloud. You have to. Not investment advice. Do your own research, you know. But CeeLo. I mean, you tell me. You guys tell me. Does this look bullish to you? All I can see is head and shoulders, price below cloud. Okay. We can go down the list. Roll bit. Nonsense chop. LYX. Bearish still. PRK. All right. All right, PRK. I see you. I probably said rising wedge. Oh, look at that. Look how good I am. Still in a rising wedge. So I'd be careful. I wouldn't trade this to the long side. Maybe into Q4. Man, could you imagine? Imagine my hero call of Q4 being correct. Some sort of, hold on, some sort of like something into Q4. I don't know. That would make sense to me. Metis. I was measuring this higher. Maybe as a cup and handle, but again, I mean, you tell me. Am I crazy? What does that look like to you? Is that bullish? No, I don't see it as bullish. Head and shoulders on that. Basiniaga, yeah. CTSI below the daily cloud. FET, not great, not horrible. I got nothing. Just kind of momentumless up there. AGIX, massive double top. Ocean, angry chop. Yeah, it's just going to take Ocean BTC even pulling back. It's just going to take 2, 3, 4 weeks for stuff to reset, you know. SHIB, man, I would love for SHIB to just go to 0. I would love that. I would love it. I'm going to be honest, I would love it. This doesn't necessarily scream bearishness as I poorly draw a triangle. This could break up. Not saying I can't. It's just, it goes back to this conversation. You know, it was up 500% in 6 months. What do you want, right? Bonk, same thing. I was measuring this up. I don't know why. I guess I was saying if it does break up, that's where it's going, but certainly does not look bullish. Certainly does not look bullish here. Beam, I don't even, that's nothing. That's chop. Ton is one of the like 5 coins that has done well against Bitcoin. It's the Telegram coin. I don't know. Looks okay. I mean, up here, I wouldn't want to touch it, but I probably said that last week too. Low time frames have been consolidating higher. I don't know. I don't know. Sell. Below cloud. Bearish. Below channel. Bearish. Crow. Similar to Bonk, honestly. Just kind of ranging. If Bitcoin breaks up, all this stuff's going to break up. I mean, I think everybody knows that. Sin BTC. Bearish. Below the daily. ILV. I was drawing out a cup and handle here. Looks pretty choppy in low time frames. Just seeing if it's bullish enough to... I mean, it looks okay, but everything... It's along with everything else. There's flavors of triple top, head and shoulders in that. Stellar looks flat. Tezos, all right, finally, here we go. Tezos weekly cloud, somebody asked me. Yes, the Tezos weekly could go 300% to $5. However, let's take a look. Tezos BTC, I believe that's an all-time low. So if you're looking to time the trade, I would probably wait. Wait for a bull div or something down here. Wait for something that's more bullish. But yes, Tezos BTC. You know, if we go back to something like Flow BTC. Flow BTC at least is not pushing lows. Does it look bullish? No, but it's ranging. So that's why I like Flow over Tezos here as an example. Tezos was an inverse metric of economic utility. A few streams ago, I said LRC. I thought that was on the list. I guess not. LRC was a great looking weekly edge to edge. Still is. Still looks good on the USD pair. Does best after halving. Got to keep that in mind with all these. But yeah, for that pair of 6 that I showed, you know, all of these could be, could you imagine like another 6 months of right shoulder? That could be in the cards for sure. Let me get rid of all this. Boop, 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 boop. It still looks good. It still looks good. But I just know against Bitcoin, it is going to look not as good. Right? So if you're timing this, I would wait until we have stopped dying in this megaphone thing. But the weekly does look good. PIF, somebody keeps asking me about. What's the best exchange? Is it Binance? No. Kraken? What do you think, dear Pith asker? It's just as bearish as all the other alts, honestly. It's not really much to say. Super rangy, choppy. I would wait until it's above like the 6-hour cloud. I don't know. Just looks like chop, 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 chop. Comp, because somebody keeps asking me about that one. Just chop. Mega, ultra, turbo chop. On the weekly, you know, you give it 3 months, it might start to get bullish again, but I wouldn't expect anything anytime soon on that one. WAMPL, your news leader. No. The best entries were here and here. So it's not really an entry here. It is up. What is it? It's up 1,000% in 6 months. I mean, you know, what do you want? What more do you want on that? At this point, can we pull up? I don't think we can pull up like base. No. I don't know. I think most of these also, they've had their run in the near term. Rune BTC. Angry Chop. Rune USD. Angry Chop. Below the daily cloud. Give it a month. Wait for all this stuff to reset. FXS. Nothing. Mog below the daily cloud. There's really nothing out there. When I say really, I mean really nothing out there. You know, if you have a ton in your portfolio, congratulations. Everything else looks pretty awful. Pretty awful. Yeah, Daniel, I was talking about PaxG a little bit. I don't hate, you know, if you're looking to take profit into something, I don't hate PaxG as an option. I wouldn't expect it to necessarily outperform anything on the Bitcoin side, but if you want to take some risk off, volatility risk, not like other risks, because there's other risks here for PaxG, but against Bitcoin, it's really been down only since 2023. So yeah, I don't hate the idea though. You know, it doesn't look that bearish down here. This may recover, but it's not like a screaming long. Up here, it made a lot more sense to attempt the rotation. You know, then it broke down. Okay, then it's bearish. Here, you'd really want it above 040. But as like a place to take profit into cash or something, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Golem. Golem Network? Is that right? You tell me. Golem Asker. I will say on the weekly here, maybe you are onto something. This could just be a Wyckoff reaccumulation or whatever, Wyckoff markup. If you pop on, if you look for the schematic, hold on, let me grab it. Wyckoff accumulation schematic. Wait for this, hold on, and boom. Right, you're basically in the sinus strength potentially. For GLM. So yeah, sure. You know, I'm not going to buy it here, but if you're holding it, I don't think you're concerned. Do I use a separate cloud for altcoins compared to stuff? No, anything crypto, anything 24/7, I use 2061, 2030, including alts, preferably on the daily. What else? Anything else people want to look at on the alt side? Is there any meme coin I need to be looking at that I just isn't on my radar? I know people are looking at this one. Is there even a chart for this? I don't. I'd have to go to like Deck Screener, wouldn't I? Yeah, I'm not pulling up Senyaga. Sorry. Chinese Communist Dragon. You pull up Mog, but not Bowden. The list is the list. I didn't make the list. The list is from what people told me on 328. Toshi Jida coins. Benny, come on. Shark Cat. Are these all? I can't pull these up on TradingView though. That's the thing. I think I have to use Dex Screener. Do I not? I mean, look, there's nobody here in the stream right now, so it's just you and me, dear listener. So this is where the real alpha is going to come. Of course, OJ gently used leather gloves. Rip OJ, by the way. What do I even sort this by to make sense? Will this pull up the chart? Is there a list of... It's not like a list I can just plop down, can I? No. Jito Soul. Definitely Adam and Eve double toppy right now. How can I just want to click through a list. Is there a way to do that? I don't think there is. Can I search? Let's just search. Can I search this? Bowden Soul. Man, do I hope all this junk just goes to zero. Sorry, guys. I know I'm a Debbie Downer. I am a Debbie Downer. You know, that doesn't look bullish. I'll say that much. Chat's come alive. I've pulled up Deck Screener. Sitting on BTC is boring. Okay. What do you want me to do? Go to the batting cages. That's what I do. right now. If I weren't here with you, of course. First meme on Bitcoin, degen, pups. Okay, hold on. All right, Bowden, not screaming bullishness. Pups. Oh man, this is some real lowest common denominator stuff, isn't it? It's sure, it's bullish. I almost clicked the casino link on accident. Could you imagine what would have happened? This one? No. How does anybody find anything? All these names are the same. There's NFT puke all over my screen. Oh my god. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Add to the watch list on the right. That's the thing. I don't want to add to the watch list. I just want to pull up a watch list. I don't know the pairs. That's the problem. There's too many pairs. How does anybody find anything? Degen. Degen with. This one looks like a descending triangle to me. Somebody's going nuts with the hearts. Absolutely blowing it up. You know, again, this was up 2,000% in like a week and a half. Give it some time. Let this thing, you gotta assume this is like, these are like the worst of the worst traders. You just gotta assume it's like the retail-y of the retail-y, right? King of retail. This probably continues to head south, I'd imagine. This is not a chart that looks bullish to me. And we can draw that, and descending triangle should not break up. Toshi. Can I make this bigger? There we go. Toshi. I will say this layout is very zoomer. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't know. I honestly have no idea what to do with this here. Can I put on the cloud? $20, $60, $120, $30. I don't know what that last category is. I'm just gonna forget about it. Lagging span, whatever. It's leaning bullish, maybe cup and handle. I don't know. Don't know, honestly. Doesn't look horrible. Looks better than degen, I'll say that much. What else were people asking? Pups is only on Pups. Did I look at this one yet? Yeah, I did. Okay. I mean, it's going up. It looks, you know, it's got that parabolic curve to it. So I'd probably watch where's the line tool? I don't know. Sure. It's a parabola, everybody. There's a 10 list for the most popular coins on the home page. I mean, we gotta look at OJ, right? OJ on the 1 second? Are there really people trading this? I mean, really? I don't know. Talked about all those. Whoa, look at that. Look at that crazy. Somebody just came in and swept the floor on OJ. Trump is an election play. Thank you for that, Alpha. You need some cook group to cook these, okay? You're right. You're right, Taco. The last setting should have been 30. Roost. I mean, do you need to ask me where this is headed? Doesn't look bullish, I'll tell you that much. Pure degeneracy. Costco. Oh, you don't mean... Yeah, you mean this one. Not the actual Costco. I don't know. I've got nothing. I've got nothing to say about that. Range chop garbage nonsense. Not for me. Pups. Yeah, we looked at that. I'm reading the Discord. I think that's enough of deck screener, don't we all think so? I don't know. There's nothing here realistically. There's a way to look at the base coins. Here we go. This one's up 6,000% in the past day. Do I think it's still bullish? Let's see. It's just not for me, you know? I'm just too old. Too old. Too old. I'm just too old, guys. That's it. I'm just too old. I'm just too old. All right, let's look at some legacy stuff. And we'll wrap it up. Somebody wanted me to look at, here we go. Entries on COPX. Okay, we'll talk about that. COPX, the copper stuff. One of the few charts that, you'll notice none of the alts look like this. None of the previous hour and a half looked like this. So entries on this is the 3-day, here's the daily legacy cloud. Daily legacy cloud says COPX is very overbought. So in the lower 40s would be a better entry if we're looking for specific spots. Over the past week, I've just sort of bought, I think last week I bought this as well. At some point, if this is a breakout trade on high time frames, kind of like gold, I don't think it's a coincidence that the metals as a group are having their moment. And if the metals are breaking out, then at some point you just have to eat the entry and say, all right, this is good enough. You could have argued at 42. I wasn't watching this at 42, but this lower spot would have been better. The cloud breakout would have been better. I wasn't watching this flat out at that time. But this moment in time is certainly better than any other time 3 years, 4 years prior to now as a breakout attempt for a move higher. So at least that's what I'm telling myself. Silver is the same. There's an old diag on silver. Man, how old is that diag? I haven't looked at silver in a long time. So I don't know. But same thing, same story. It broke out of the diag. Taken 4 or 5 years. Anything here is good. Anything lower is good. If you think it's going higher, if you think, if we measure this silver to 40-ish, right? Yeah, sure, here looks good. Lower looks better, but here looks fine. MSOS is another one someone asked about. Trading View having a moment. Oh yeah, the cannabis, obviously. MSOS. At some point, before things look insanely good, you sort of have to say, do I have the confidence that this moves higher? So yes, you know, it's a breakout above 10, let's say, wherever 10 is. So yeah, it looks fine. Yeah, sure, right? Like this might chop around a little bit. You don't want this making lower lows. But if you're bullish on this, this is the cannabis ETF. If you're bullish on this, yeah, I like it. I like it anywhere at this point, right? It's been 2-3 years just chopping around. Same thing with silver. It looks ready to go. INTC, not a bullish chart. I do not like this chart on the long side. Very bearish to me. I don't think there's anything here. Just looks done. The move looks done. In the moment, the daily, you'd want to see this back above, for sure. You know, it's been like a week or more below the daily cloud at this point. And you can kind of see the same thing with pups, right? When you get these parabolic moves and you break out of that to the downside, that's your first hint. Just, you know, it's time to get out, right? You could probably argue even a tighter support up there. It's a midpoint. But yeah, that's definitely not bullish. Matt wanted me to look at Mara BTC. Sure. On the weekly. Yeah, the miners. It's no secret I'm not bullish on the miners. First of all, I think the best you could hope for is some sort of eventual inverted head and shoulders here. But this certainly doesn't look bullish on the range. You know, maybe you're hoping for support or something here. I don't even know, but it doesn't look bullish. I can tell you that much. Does not look happy. Sorry, just catch up with chat. BQ asks, what is the likely max drawdown for BTC if we sell the halving news? 30%? 20%? That's likely max drawdown. Realistically, 20%, but I don't think that happens. I looked at gold already. I said it looked okay. Thinking of a Hershey play. I assume Cocoa up is bad for Hershey. So I assume this looks not good as a chart. It doesn't look great. I mean, maybe you could argue bear div. Or not bear div, bear flag or something. How does this look on the daily? Yeah, it doesn't look bullish. I'll tell you that much. The problem with being bearish again is it's already down 32%. But you're right, trend is leaning bearish. So it certainly doesn't look bullish, I'll say that much. How many days on average, no, how many times a day do I check the Bitcoin price? I always have it up in the second screen. So if I'm at a computer, I'm always looking at a Bitcoin price pretty much constantly throughout the day. Do I wait for it or find a diag? Do you wait for it to find the diag as new support before you go long? No. So, you know, we can go back to the Bitcoin example. Let's just pull it up over here. QQQ having a day. Look at that. if you are bullish today, right now in Bitcoin, there's no reason you can't start accumulating. So if you think this is going to be a breakout trade to the long side, you could say, okay, I'm going to DCA a position, leverage whatever, for the next week. That means you have some total size in mind, and you say, I'm going to DCA 10% a day. Because you know that it's about to make a decision, and if it is bullish, you want to be there, right? That's not the right cloud. That's one way to think about it. You have to be confident in the call of, is this what I think this is this bullish or bearish? But yeah, you know, back to the MSOS, or we'll go to Tilray. This stuff, okay, Tilray less so, but this stuff has been beaten down for years, and it's been flat for a couple of years. Hood is probably a better example. Toast. Any point, you know, if you're bullish on the thesis of cannabis or whatever, right? And there's some sort of triple bottom, anything in this range is fair game. To add to a position, you just say my stop loss is all-time lows, right? That's it. My stop loss is 147. I'm going to buy anything in this range, assuming it's bullish, and that's it. Regarding copper. Yeah, so copper, again, anything that looks like it's going to break out, I'll buy it. I'll buy it anywhere. I bought XLE, the same reason. The energy ETF. I took XLE calls like weeks ago because it looked good enough, right? All this is the same rationale. It's done years of nothing. It looks good enough to make the decision to take the trade, you know? That's it. That's it. It magically went up 8 weeks in a row or whatever this is, but you just got to get to a point where the probability is in your favor, that where you think your edge is realistic, and take the chance, right? This does look like Bitcoin a little bit, doesn't it? Stop loss on SLE. What is the? Well, let's take a look. Joey, great question. Something I'm asking myself here. What is the daily support fractal? Stop loss would be 92.2 based on the daily fractals. Still looks good. It's obviously overbought. It's obviously getting a TKC clamp here on the cloud. But the fractals say 92.2. I use Schwabaruni. Stop loss, previous low, second touch or die. That's tight. I like it. Great upside. Yeah, I like XLE higher. I like copper higher. Energy, commodity stuff, I think all goes higher. Eventually, I don't know, looks good. Looks good. So yeah, even if you're late, like even on this, like, are you going to add a full size position on something that's up, you know, 8 weeks in a row? Probably wait, you know, probably wait a week or two, monitor it, have some bids at support at 93 in this example. How many weeks is this now? Yeah, 8 weeks. Huge. Will alt season typically outstrip any BTC gains without leverage? What percentage of your BTC gains do you rotate into alts? What percentage do I rotate into alts? I don't know. Probably 25%, potentially. It's not, you know, it's up to you, obviously, but 25 to 50%. I see 50 as a very high number, but yeah, if you want to play the alt game. Now, I wouldn't rotate 25% into Joe Biden, but maybe pick your favorite 10 alts for a rotation play and figure it out from there. All right, let's zoom through the rest of this list in the last 10 minutes we have here. KWeb, the Korean, not Korean, Chinese internet ETF. Don't tell Kyle Bass, everybody, but this thing looks pretty good. It's the same story with any breakout trade. Has it had enough pain? And are you convinced that this pattern is real? You know, this is a very sloppy triple bottom. Am I convinced? Not quite yet, but into May, right? I have an alert on this for a reason. Into May, I can see an argument that this thing starts to break out. So just set an alert on it, right? That's it. Okay, my alert's at 32. But that'll probably trigger in May based on the cloud. It looks like some sort of low held here. I don't know. Am I bullish China? Absolutely not. But if this chart starts to curl up, sure. Dominion Energy, just down only. Maybe ascending triangle down here. Certainly not bullish. Peloton. Peloton. This thing's falling out the bottom. Probably an acquisition target for somebody at this point, maybe? I don't know. Nothing I would touch here. I have an alert on the upper support, resistance rather. That's an all-time low for Peloton, I'm pretty sure. This week, last week. Zoom also, back to this discussion about breakout trading. You could always start accumulating anything in the range, and if it goes to all-time lows, you cut it, right? What is your upside potential? Your upside potential is probably very, very, very unrealistic, but your upside potential is like 300. Now, is Zoom an acquisition target? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I'm still long Hood, yeah. I'm still holding Hood. Hood was one I tried twice to take the long. I tried early in 2023 and got out of it. And then I got in it again and, I was there, right? But the same argument, it just needs to chop around long enough to shake out everybody who's bearish, and that's it. But yeah, I like Hood still. Looks fine. Looks fine. I don't like miners of any kind, Mr. Young. Do you have a ticker for me on the silver miners? If you have a ticker, I'll pull it up. Is there like an alts top 200 versus BTC that excludes stables? I want to compare relative timing. Yeah, if you make your own, let me pull it up. Where do I have it? Top plot, there it is. Yeah, that's fair. Sapient, Scorpion. Keeping separate allocations. What you can do to take off the stable coins is just do total 2 minus stable coins. Total 2 minus tether or something. It's going to mess up the line, but the previous halving stuff, total 2 went much lower after halving. It wasn't, deep. It wasn't until deep into halving that total 2 broke out. All right, Hood looks good. What else? CDLX, is that another pot stonk? I can't remember. That looks okay. It needs to be above the weekly cloud, above the daily cloud. KMPH looks okay above the weekly. Tilray we already looked at. Okta just retracing still. I like that in Q4. Snow, last week I said it looks tragically awful. Finding support down here, but I don't think that's a trade. Bearish semis. I don't think there's a trade here per se just yet. I think it's getting there, but I think 1 to 10 split. I think it needs time. As Cahotis would say, you need the jaguar to come out of the tree. Still on that one. GME just tragically awful. The forever falling wedge to 0. MSTR is down today. I think it's overbought until the ratio makes sense again. So I certainly wouldn't touch it up here. You can also see Head and Shoulders SMCI type vibes on that. Coin looks fine. It's been strong over the past couple days. Holding the midpoint of the pitchfork. Looks good. It's a cycle hold for me. You know, if you are bullish crypto, coin should do well. WGMI just kind of angry chop. Miners in general across the board, all of them angry chop. I mean, we can look at this against Bitcoin. And basically near all-time lows, right? Very angry against Bitcoin. Even CleanSpark, which is one of the most bullish of the miners, just kind of rolling over. Hive, one of the worst looking miners, also at lows. Just doesn't look bullish in the moment for me. What else do we got on here? Anything good? Not really. Anything else you guys want me to look at on the legacy side? KRE was down a bunch. Yesterday, kind of flat today. TLT down some more today. TLT, man. There were people piling into the long end of the bond market for a while now, and I just didn't understand. Like, there was a great trade from there to there, obviously, but since then it's been real rough on the TLT people. Yeah, if you, Sapient is also correct on the capital gain stuff. That's one reason last cycle I didn't even sell most of my BTC. You know, I sold a very small percentage because I knew the taxes were going to be a nightmare. So I just said, no, I'm not going to pay the government. Let it draw down. And I just held it. Coinbase total volume versus other exchanges. Yeah, Coinbase has, what, 50% of the market share in the US, 55% trading volume. So it's definitely dominating. Anything else we want to talk about? I don't think so. Good volume on IBIT today. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that's all we got. Tesla looks bearish. If it's not above the daily cloud, bearish. Okay? It's not above the daily cloud. If Elon keeps saying everybody's rate sensitive about buying a car and the car loans are too high, rates not coming down is not going to help that. So, you know, this is it a double bottom? Maybe. I don't know. But talk to me when this is above the daily cloud again. Down here, it's not for me. Is there a... Yeah, okay. Is that this previous thing measures much lower than where price is currently at. Certainly not for me. Not here. Dixie we talked about. Dixie is fairly bullish, unfortunately for us. That's just an additional headwind for alts, for crypto in general, for Bitcoin. PayPal. I think I looked at that one. PayPal I like. This goes back to the breakout conversation. It's above the falling wedge, the 2-year falling wedge, okay. It had a head and shoulders down here. Let me just make this less aggressive. It had a inverted head and shoulders down here. Does it look amazing? No, but it broke out of 2 patterns, and I think you just got to give it time. So I'm still holding PayPal. I don't have any issues there. To me, it looks fine. GL. Globe Life. Why did you tell me to pull that up? Come on. Is that life insurance? That chart does not look good. Does not look good. Yikes. Yeah, I'm curious what happened there. I assume that's life insurance, but I have no idea. Yeah, buy when there's blood in the street, guys. And on that happy note, I think we'll end it there. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening to my bearish ramblings. And look, if you get the Bitcoin direction correct, you'll probably do okay on the alt side. Bitcoin still looks pretty good. Still looks pretty good. That's all we got. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.